All right, welcome everyone to another 5 a.m. Club After Hours, where we focus on faith, fitness, business, and mental health. And we have two of Virginia's own OGs, the GOATs, Taylor P., CEO of the League of Safer Streets, and Prince, BYDS, Before You Do Something. How you guys doing tonight?
You.
Man, I'm gonna tell you right now. Them damn kids worried the hell out of me today, but I'm all right though. Get on my damn nerves today, boy. They just we had a job fair today, though, but they got on my nerves, but that's all that's what they do. I'm good though.
Yeah, I'm straight, man. You know, you lifing, man. And trying to save a few.
And look,
I love it. I love it. So while Prince is getting his camera right,
nah,
Taylor,
cause
go ahead.
Juju trying to call me now, and listen, let me turn this damn thing on. How you don't take no calls when you what you got to put on this thing so that nobody can call you?
Do not
Airplane.
disturb. Do not
All right, where
disturb.
that button? Where is that at? Cause I'm sending people to tell them to come up here and they worm me. But go ahead, bro. You all right?
But Taylor P., let's get an introduction from you. Who are you and what do you stand for, brother?
Mm. Man, that's a good question, man. I'm just everyday people, man. Do just like rumbling for the common folk, man. The second chance community. Person that was incarcerated for years and wanted to come home and, as I say so often, eradicate some of the social ills that I helped create. So just a dude that's gained the total line, man, to try to change something and help the culture and again the common folk.
Love that. Prince, let's give an
Yeah.
introduction.
I'm trying to figure out that that's all he said. I'm just trying to figure out. He said, well, I mean, all that's true what he said, but I'm just saying that's all that he said. He probably should have told y'all about Leroy Jackson, but I'm gonna bring that into the conversation later on. You ain't got to worry about that though. That's me and his thing. Thurston Howell III and Leroy Jackson. A whole lot of people don't know about them, but either way. So that's bro, obviously. You know what I'm saying? That's the person that picked me up from prison, man, after 25 years of incarceration on the phone with me right here. When I got out in the parking lot, that's who was there. That ain't no shot at nobody that wasn't there, because everyone I say that, people be like, hey, you always say he was. Yeah, well, guess what? Damn it.
Please make that disclaimer, bro.
No, I'm just saying, because sometimes I think when people hear me say that he was in the parking lot for me, I mean, the people that have supported me throughout my journey are just important, but people got jobs. Ain't nobody got time to do no damn jail, prison tour, picking people up. We shouldn't have been in there from the beginning. The hell. But I was thankful that he was there because I needed him to be there because he helped me get there, And as we got there, we had other stuff that we was working on, trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Life, what we was gonna do with our life, you know what I'm saying? That we had got our life back. Because me and bro came listen to me. The fact that we on this call right now, having this conversation about what we're talking about is a miracle in itself. He had life in 23. I had life plus 80. I was a second-time offender. And both of us promised and made a commitment to the things that we loved and care about, that when we got out, we was gonna come back and we was gonna clean up some of the social ills that he says it just like this, that we helped create. So that's what sanity is. That's what the League for Safer Streets is. That's what BYDS is. It's all the same thing by a different name. Because, you can't talk to everybody the same way, because you might have to say this way to that person, and this way you got to, So sanity is before you do something. And the League for Safer Streets is sanity. Because we want to keep people safe by having communications to say, look, man, crashing out is not even an option, yo. We don't do that, yo. So that's where we at with it, man.
And I guess I'll tell you guys who I am, right? And then I'll let Donnie introduce himself. So my name, Dominique Holiday. I'm the CEO of HSI, Holiday Systems, Inc., where we implement systems into entrepreneurs or corporate organizations. And I also have a 5 a.m. club which I just said the pillars are faith, mental health, fitness, and business. Because without faith, you have nothing. Without fitness, you have nothing. There's no business without the mental health aspect. And something resonated in me when you guys were speaking, and that happens a lot. Like I talked to Taylor or Paul. I don't know what you want me to call you, but I'll call you Paul, right? For now. And just getting out of prison was a thing, right? I've never been locked up, but my father was locked up. And like you said, Prince, he was like in the parking lot for you. So my mom went and picked my dad up from prison, and I was so mad at her. And
you was mad at her because he had been absent out of your life.
No, it wasn't even that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I waited for him to get out, and I wanted to ride with her, to be in that parking lot with her, to see him coming out. I waited for him for years, but all that anger went away once I saw him. So that's just it touched my heart to hear that he was in the parking lot for you, because it really means something to me to have someone there for you. So that's a little bit of who I am. And Donnie, I'll let you go ahead and speak and tell everyone who you are.
Even everybody, to my family, they call me Donnie, but a lot of people know me as Blunt. And man, I think just this call represents for me, you know, like-minded men that want to help somebody. I think when we make it like real simple, right? It's like we've seen a lot of pain, we've seen a lot of hurt. Some of it we've caused, but the thing is now we trying to do what we can to make it better. I heard somebody ask the question recently, like, where is the village? They say it takes a village to raise these kids, but where is the village? And I believe that we're recreating that village. We're showing up, and we're better together. So for real, tonight, man, I worked in the detention system, the court system with juveniles for about like 25 years. And a little bit of my background is that I came from a family of males that were incarcerated. My mom, she was just adamant, like she was like, you're not gonna go to jail to prison, right? And could have easily have been, And it's man, I'm gonna tell you, I would come home many a nights, man, and she would just put that oil on me and she one of them old school mamas. She'd be like, Lord, save my son, and don't let him at the streets have him. And what's crazy? I didn't believe in it, you know. And it's like I was like, man, is this really real? And over the course of a period of time, man, I remember stuff started happening to me while I was out there, and I started looking for faith. It's like I needed something to believe in, because like I felt empty on the inside. I was trying to find my way. My father wasn't there to raise me, so I needed some guidance. And my mom did the best she could, but I'm so grateful for to be able to have faith and to be able to pick, to see men that were great examples that helped me along the way. So that's what I want to do for this next generation.
That's pretty good, Jamal. Donnie. The real Donnie.
So let's get into this conversation, right? Because this is going to be an electrifying conversation. I already know, because you brothers are electrifying. You guys speak, and it touches the hearts of many. So, as you all know, on this call, there was an incident where a young man, Carmelo Anthony, was locked up. Well, was sentenced to 35 years. And you guys both have been incarcerated, and you work with juvenile children and try to change their lives. Is there anything that you guys want to say on how we can do better and prepare these young men for different situations like that?
Well, no. First, let me just get some things out of the way. I just want to set the table real quick, man. And everybody that really put this thing together, man. I wanna shout out the good brother Ron J and Rock, man, from the Rock Project, Blunt and Holiday, and of course you, bro. Also, Mario, the Marios, man, Little Mario and Big Mario. I want to just thank them for the extension, and you, bro, the extension of being a part of this particular movement, man. And this is the Community Enrichment Day that's coming up, man. I want y'all, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, I'm sure. Mr. Holiday ain't going to let us get past without pushing that out to you guys, because it's going to be something to remember. But I just want to acknowledge those fine organizations that's out here and putting the work in. To your point, man, you know, my heart goes out to the youngin', man, you know, and sometimes I feel, and I'm not the only, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of cadence in my network, like, that I deal with in the ecosystem that I deal with when you talk about things like this. And we trying to figure out, you know, everybody's so, like, it was an all-white jury, right? And I get it, man. We get that part. But sometimes, man, we be in spaces, we do some of the questions, we want to let people know that, you know, that we are black. Like, I'm this, I'm here, I'm going to fight for I'm going to do everything I possibly can. And we don't necessarily understand how to navigate them questions they throw at you, because those questions are holes, man, that we simply fall into that won't allow us to be in that space to be able to be an advocate for that person as a juror. And I'm going to run that playback real slow. So, because I want people to catch this, what I'm saying right now. Sometimes the questions that they ask, and our wanting to be Superman or Superwoman, right, and be strong for this particular person, that we don't catch the question that's going to get us X'd from being a jury.
Yeah, they X you out.
And once that happens, we leave our youngins or whoever, especially people of color, in the hands of people who are going to have their way. So we got to be a bit more educated on that particular thing. We need to have some symposiums on how to deal with that part. Because everybody can who's not a felon or have their rights restored, or who can be served on a jury, we need to understand our responsibility in that part. So there need to be some symposiums. And I know some strong organizations that can push that, you know. But sometimes people got to get away who the messenger might be. You know, we got this girl Bicura. We got some twins in Norfolk. We got some different folk that can help understand what we're supposed to be or understand, so we will not be X'd out, that we can't be on the jury to defend our own. And that's what our bias is. Because I want people to go in there being on the side of right. You know, I'm not saying that we going in here trying to throw a Mickey in the deck, but we want to make sure we hear the evidence and everything is good for that particular person and they get a fair shake. And what we just saw with some of the other things that have happened to white kids that have been far worse, have gotten less time, we got to be in the room. And that's not a cliche.
Hey, bro, you know, I appreciate that, because I like the way you frame that right there, right? Because you're right. That's what happens. You get in the court, and because they're going to try to pick a juror that's going to be favorable for the outcome that they want. You know what I mean? People who lack understanding of where people are from, they judge you based upon your zip code, your level of education, you know, just being biased towards you because of your skin color. And that right there that's hard, man. So like you said, when they go in there and they start screening potential jurors, they're looking for anything to use as an excuse to get you out the way. So that way they can get that 12 bodies that's going to be in complete compliance on taking this person's life away for one bad decision that they've had. You know, true story. All right, real quick, because it's relevant to this. I got a call, bro. One of my kids from Newport News, he called, where it's actually his mom that called me, and she was like, "Yo, Prince, my Jay been trying to talk," because you know I thought it was the other Jay. So I was like, obviously I've been in training and stuff, so I had been missing the calls from him. So I get him. I think it was Saturday. I get on the call with him. I said, "What's up, bro?" He was like, "Mr. Prince, you remember me, man, from the detention center?" I said, "Yeah, Jay." I see. He started talking about the work he was doing down there and stuff. I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" I said, "Where you at, man?" He said, "Man, I'm in the system there." I said, "Oh, you got some time?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "How much time they gave you, nephew?" He said, "They gave me 103 years." I said, "What?" He said, yeah, man, they gave me 103 years. He said, and he told me, he said, I be thinking about everything that you used to say to me, man. He said, you was right. So you think 35, 100, 55, 60, all right? The children are making these trauma responses to situations, and then they're being manipulated through their anger, and their anger causes them to make a decision that takes their life away from them. So yeah, I'm in my bag about it. But here's the thing. I can't even afford to be angry about it because my anger clouds my judgment. I got to get assignment about it. The pain for mothers, this work that we are doing, yeah, they calling our name. Yeah, they might say Taylor Paul, Prince, man, listen, all right. Man, everything we done been through, we done lost, man, we lost my nephew, Paul's son, to suicide in them prison walls, bro. Shit ain't no game. Yeah. Bro used to be in the cell with his son, yo. Shit ain't no game. Can you imagine the pain that a father feels to be in a bunk in a prison and your child is on the top bunk? I don't think people really understand. And then on top of that, we still got to be able to take care of ourselves while feeling guilty about letting the ones down that we supposed to have been there for. While processing how to be to exist in a world that we have been removed from for 2 decades plus. No, this ain't no game. Ain't no game for me. I know it ain't no game for him. And how we go about articulating this message to people who think they understand what's going on with these kids. Let me tell you what's going on with them. Pain going on with them. Grief going on with them. Trauma going on with them. Hurt going on with them. Abandonment issues going on with them. Being sexually exploited going on with them. Substance abuse going on with them. Alcoholism going on with them. Depression, suicide thoughts going on with them. So you come in here talking about what they need, you need to listen. That's what they need. They need to be able to express this because this journey that we on, this ain't a journey for the people that's silent. We helping them find their voice. And when they find their voice, you know what they do? They started talking about the stuff that they're going through. And then they begin to process it at their own pace without going out creating more damage in somebody else's life because you don't know how to deal with the shit that's going on in yours. That's what we doing. That might have been a bit much, but it's all good. I can't hear you, bro.
My bad. I was on mute. I was letting you speak. I didn't want to interrupt.
It's all good.
Over 100 years. So I have a question for both of you. When the judge throws out those large numbers, why is that? Like, who can live past 100 years? Like, why do they do that? I'm amazed at 100 years.
That's just one example, bro. You know, we got, man, we had life. Both of us had life. How you do that? I told, man, that man said life to me. I thought he was tripping. I'm glad I ain't believe him. That man told us life. Plus. But I guess he was lying because look where we at. Or we didn't believe the lie. One of the two. Because look where we at. We right here. My
So
DMX.
how did that make you guys feel when they told you had life? And both of you, I want to get both of your takes on that.
Shit. You want to go first, bro? Man, I was under the cover. I was depressed like hell. I say, shit, I can't do this one. And here go my bro again coming through in the fourth quarter. We at Greensville Correctional Center. And they had started talking about reentry and all of these different terminologies, cognitive communities. I ain't never heard none of that stuff like that. So I'm like, what is that? Bro called me and he tell me, he say, look here. He said, man, I think I might have found a way for us to get back. I said, what? He said, man, you got to come over into the COG community. I was trying to figure out what the hell COG was. What COG what? Listen, learning how to process your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. Oh, well, I learned that later on. And sure enough, that same process that didn't make no sense in the beginning is the very thing that became the outlet for my freedom. So when they told me life, they right. They did give me life. They gave me an opportunity to sit back and reflect on life. And then I got it. Yeah. My decisions, the people that I hurt, the victims that I created, gave me a deeper appreciation for life, bro. And I know it's the same with this brother on this phone. That's Leroy. That wasn't Leroy Jackson that was talking. That was Taylor P. Taylor P, that dude, yo. Taylor P, that dude, yo. That's bro. But yeah, that's what we got. We got the life, and we felt like we failed our children. We failed our moms. We failed ourselves. We failed our community. So now we go extra hard for it, yo. And even sometimes we ain't even appreciated for it. People talk about you, right? They talk about what you have acquired in your journey. People get jealous about how you going about helping somebody. Or you over there doing this. Man, shut your mouth up, man. But don't know what a person's motivation is, man.
So I want to hear from Taylor. Thanks, Prince, for that take. So Taylor P, how did you feel? And we're gonna get into the reentry and how you guys support the youth right now after that.
Can you repeat that again?
I said, how did you feel when the judge told you had life, and then we're going to talk about the reentry and how you got out.
So, I mean, just the word in itself was a chill because it won't a number. He didn't say 10, 20, 30, 40. You know, he gave you the L. And when you get the L in the system, it's different. You treat it different. People even look at you a little different, man, because they feel you don't have nothing to lose. That makes you sort of dangerous inside the system. Because people feel you have nothing to lose with a life sentence. So they're very cautious. And even in how they deal with you, right? It's a two-part thing to my thing, right? He didn't realize that life sentence was a long-term investment for my community and every person that I serve. That life sentence that was supposed to be the end of something, but it says life. So he don't even know he gave life. And as I said, it was a long-term investment for the community. I just needed time to learn how to do it. Did it take 23 years for me to get it? Nah, man, the paradigm shift came on a long time ago. But I'm gonna move however Allah decree, however God decree, or however long it's gonna be, then I'm gonna be content with whatever he decree. So am I bitter? People say, were you bitter about your incarceration? No. No, when you there, you bitter. Especially when you realize that you failed some children. And I'm not talking about the ones we served, I'm talking about your own. Being a single child from your mama that did everything right and taught you how to do everything right, but you chose to get off the straight and narrow. So yeah, man, it gave you a chill, but what gave me a chill more than anything was being in the court that day. And most of the time, the family of the victim sits on the side with the prosecutor, and nah, not this day. The mother of the victim of my crime, she sat behind me. And I heard her say, "Why, Paul?" That's a part of my why today. That haunted me every single day that it came into my mind inside the system. And as bro just told you, you imagine going to your religious service one day and somebody say, "Yo, P, it's a young around here to say he your son." Now, you know they in the system, but they ain't never been on the yard with you. Imagine trying to dad on a yard, bro. Imagine your son telling you to come out and watch him hoop on a basketball court. And I ain't talking about Norfolk State University, Hampton University, Georgetown, or Carolina, or Duke. On a prison rec yard, man, and you out there trying to suppress your tears watching your son hoop because you know you failed that kid out there that's gifted. Right now, man, I want to get to the meat of this Get Busy, man. Because as I said so many times before, even fathers, because I learned something the other day, because everybody talking about the youngins, right? But if the numbers, if you do the data, a lot of these gun violence things that happen, man, it's a lot of older kids, older dudes too. I just learned that the other day. The whole time I'm like, damn, these young, everybody, these YN, and I hate that. I hate them. I hate that YN thing. But everybody's saying it's the youngins, man. Ain't necessarily true. We living in a time right now where fathers and raise guns better than they raise their own kids, and you're looking at one that thought he had it all together, but failed his own kids. So when I say we come back to eradicate some of the social ills that we help create, imagine being in that prison, you're on the phone, and a youngin coming to par, his eyes is so big because he see you. And he don't want nothing to do. He just want to meet you because he hear all the stories of the glory days and back in the days, right? He just want to meet you. Then he get on the phone. He got his mom on. He say, Mom, here you go right here. And you get on the phone with his mama. And she say, Paul or Prince, please don't let nothing happen to my baby in there. Got him. We got him. He going to be okay. He going to be okay. So this work started behind the gate, man. Because we noticed inside that system that it was kids 18 and 19 years old that's going to be locked up longer than the 18 or 19 years that they was free. But they got locked up at 16 and 17, 15. But when they turned 18, they sent them straight to prison. Who you think gonna catch them? Who you think was catching them? Who you think left men behind that's still catching them today? So the life sentence was a long-term investment for my communities.
That's a powerful message. Donnie, you got something to say?
No, man, I'm humbled by that, man. I ain't gonna touch it, man. But I appreciate y'all, man, for what y'all do.
So let's get into the league and BYDS and reentry. So while we're still here, Paul, let's talk about the league. I know you talked about how your journey started, but let's talk about where it is now. What is the league?
Yeah, man. The league is everyday people, man. The league is, as I said so many times before, the league is the common folk. The league is the second chance community. The league is everything, man, that people say couldn't win. That's what the league is, man. The league was Jawad Abdul. I'd be remiss if I did not mention the person in the system who sat on the steps. And we wanted to see how we could come home and again change the narrative inside of communities. And that's Jawad Abdul. The late Jawad Abdul. The league is Jawad, man. The league is his legacy and everything he believes and his belief in me.
So let's go a little deeper on that. Who is Jawad?
West End.
I want to highlight that. Go ahead.
West End Scooter, man, by way of Boston, Massachusetts. Boston Patriot fan, Boston Celtic fan. You'll be mad right now that the
Boston Red Sox fan.
But the Knicks could have won to him, man, because he's a Boston guy to the core, right? But he's Richmond, man. He loved Richmond to the point that he wanted me to come here, parole here. You know, I'm from the 7, bro. He wanted me to parole here, man, and put this thing together. You know? And me wanted to parole here because I wanted to come here because Richmond's where the politicians at, where they make the laws and change the laws. And I wanted them to hear some things from someone who can be politically correct as well as speak the language of the people. The league is all that right there. You know, the league is Hillside, the league is Mosby, the league is Creighton, the league is Wokem, the league is what they call the Big 6, which we ain't even gonna do that. The neighborhoods. It's the people, man, who everybody say can't win, bro. So they said they didn't want us to play in their league. We created our own.
I love that, man. It's so powerful. And Prince, we're about to get to you, but thanks for that, Taylor.
Oh yeah.
Prince,
Let me
go
put
ahead.
him in the log.
What's happening?
The league is BYDS.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to tell you, there ain't no separation. It's the same. It's just called different things, and it's you know how you go out on a journey. I think it's like him. I think you told me this. They say that the man that goes out in search of knowledge never returns home. I think you told me this. Somebody's one of y'all. But anyway,
I like to claim that one, but I didn't though, bro. But whoever did,
I'm just But they say the man that goes out in search of knowledge never returns home. But either way, I mean, I take that as a foundational seed for the conversation. And you say, well, what is the league? What is BYDS, man? These are just an extensions of the same thought process. Because why do we need a league for safer streets? I am entrusted with being the workshop coordinator for the league. And my job is to do workshops before the games to engage the people in the crowd on topics that deal with conflict resolution, just whatever the topic is that needs to be talked about at the time. And knowing how to interact with us, everything don't always go the same way for black folks, man. And this ain't no knock on white people, but things be a little different with us. And we have to understand how to read the room, how to be able to, see the temperament of the people coming in, and then still find messaging inside of that right there without trying to judge them for the condition that they're in, because we already know how people are hurting. So the League for Safer Streets is really a communication outlet, because you will never have a League for Safer Streets unless you learn how to communicate, which is the building block of quality interactions with human beings. So the League is the communication based. Well, how you doing today? You okay? How was your day? Not a generic check-in, but a check-in to see exactly what's going on with the person. Man, I'm struggling. Man, I ain't got no lights. We don't have, I ain't got nothing to eat. The League serves in all of those capacities right there. Pulling up at the prisons, going down to the jails, going to the schools, pulling up in the neighborhoods, right? That's the League. But how are you able to do that? Well, the only way we can serve in that capacity is that you have to have something that grounds you in this work, something that keeps you sane. That's the sanity part of it. What am I feeding my spirit, my mind? You said faith, What am I feeding my soul to keep me motivated as I go amongst all of this hurt and trauma and grief to try to carry this message of salvation or hope to people that don't feel like they matter in a world that's trying to silence them? The BYDS component of it is we have to get them to understand, before you do something, listen, man, we don't need you thinking after the fact. You have to think before the fact. And when you start thinking before, then you stepping into the realm of your future. My thoughts are in the future tense. What am I going to do with my life? Who's going to be a part of my circle? What do I want my life to look like 5, 10 years from now? Then being able to go through the stuff that you're going through without taking it personal. Bro, I always say, man, whatever law decreed, can't complain about it. You got to accept it for what it is. And then understand that, like, yo, man, this thing this deeper than anyone about us on this phone, bro. Because when our number get called, the assignment still goes on. We're just trying to plant enough seeds that when we go, they're gonna be able to when they do the roll call on us, we're gonna be one of the honorable mentions, man. So that's what BYDS, the sanity, and the League is about, bro.
People
making sure you make the honor roll.
I like that. I like that, bro. You make the honor roll, man. Because you're talking in an environment where people trust you. Each session that we got over 250 African Americans from 16 and 30. They trust us, man. Like, when some of the youngins feel like, he say like, yo, Coach P. Lang or Prince, man, like, I don't feel like being in this world no more. Well, we need some community partners, man. And I want to get to this part. We need some community partners that we can send them to. We got a few. You know, we got Tidewater Counseling, we got Dr. J. We got a few that we can send them to, right? But, you know, we just got to make sure they get to who they need to get to, you know, because I don't want them coming back saying, man, them people ain't do us right, you know? So we super protective of who we even allow in our space, because we learned in a short amount of time that there were some orgs that's predatory, data mongers, you know what I'm saying? You know, we ain't even going there right there though, man, because I feel that everybody doing some good work out here, man, you know, and as Jim Collins said in Good to Great, you know, they may not necessarily have to get off the bus. It just might be in the wrong seat, you know. So in short, you know, some people might just see it as basketball, you know, but we see access. We see access, you know, because basketball is just a draw. I like baseball. You never think a kid from the hood like baseball. That's my thing. I like baseball, you know. But we get healing, accountability, opportunity, and relationships in this brand, man. You know, that's the mission. So when bro talk about no workshop, no jump shot, it ain't just a slogan. It's a decision to create another court that young people can go to besides the court inside the system. Basketball just happened to be the bait. I don't care about the high score. Now they do. I don't care about who has the most rebounds, or I don't even care who really won the chip. It's the consistency of them showing up each and every session for 12 weeks. Now, we still get in our workshop component in a better space, right? But sometimes, man, you know, it got to be the topic of the city. Whatever the hot topic of the city is, bro, gonna pivot to that hot topic. If it's the fighting at the graduation, bro, gonna get to that topic. Because we also looking for some ambassadors inside of our own brand to pass the baton to. And if all of these individuals are in all the neighborhoods that they say that the crime is up or the violence is up, then if we got a lot of them, then why can't we coach them up? And we ain't talking about who can go left and who can go right. Then why we can't coach them up, man, with some cognitive understanding and make it contagious when they go back around the way. So yeah, man, the league is BYDS and BYDS is the league.
And let me just add this too, right? So just so you could better understand what before you do something embodies. BYDS was started at James River Correctional Center with the kids, with a conversation I was having with them, right? And it was one of them conversations where, like, okay, we don't want to give them no escape, because whether you white, black, old, young, rich, poor, before you do something, it's applicable to everybody's life, right? And when you think about the before, what this does, this is future tense, because what you're doing when you say before, you're saying preliminary, your assessment, your strategy, your planning, your awareness, your consciousness. You know what I mean? That thing that guides you in the midst of all of these, you know, days of uncertainty, right? When you get to the you part, you're talking about the you is me, the you is I, the you is us, the you is we, the you is they, them, the all. Everybody is the you. So if I understand everybody being the you as a whole, then I'm gonna be more patient with you, like I would like for you to be with I. You know what I mean? The do, that's the action phase. Once you get into doing, you better have had a handle on, bro always say, man, you'll get busy. Well, you better have a handle on your get busy before you do something. You know, we don't just do stuff just to be doing it. No, we ain't on no crash out time over. You can't come over here because we got too much we care about. And the something is where most people miss it at. The something is you go through something, you come out of something to go through something else. And inside of every something, there's a lesson that needs to be learned and taught. Damn, there's always something. Yep. Get ready to be in class.
That S is the seatbelt too.
And that's exactly what it is. And you better strap up. You know, this message right here, man, is a message of freedom, redemption, self-forgiveness, because one of the hardest things I think that people coming home from incarceration battle with, bro, is we got to forgive ourselves for not being there for our kids. We got to forgive ourselves for the damage that we cause in other people's lives. We got to forgive ourselves, for, not, remaining consistent in this journey, man, because it's going to be stuff that's going to pull at you, bro. You're going to get pulled. I told bro the other day, man, and Jamal and this too, so they know this. Holiday, I don't talk to you as much as I talk to them, but I told him, I said, man, my biggest battle, man, is to overcome anger. See, because when you allow anger to settle on you, that's the doorway to crashing out. So despite anything that's going on in my life, I still have to keep my heart pure, bro. It's the only pure in heart can see God, man. And I don't want no hardened heart. I don't want no heart that can't see humanity and can't see people and can't see the babies. I ain't gonna be like that. That's for suckers, man. I ain't doing no stuff like that, man.
Some just came to me while you guys were speaking. Prince, you specifically, BYDS. So I'm gonna touch on that first. So of course, I didn't say this, but I was in the Navy for 7 years,
All right.
and I supported special operations groups. And one thing that we were taught is risk over casualty.
Mm.
And what that means is assess the risk and is it worth the casualty? And I feel like BYDS is similar to that. Like, think about it, and is it worth you doing? And the other thing is tiredness, and this is for you, Taylor P. The league. I know it's basketball, and I played basketball for almost all my life. And it attracted me because it was something that my dad was proud of me for doing. But tiredness causes injury. But you know what else tiredness causes? You to crash out as well. And I don't mean physically tired. I mean mentally tired of your surroundings. So most of the time when people crash out, they're going through trauma. They don't know where to go. And now they're just tired of everything. Even suicidal thoughts come from being tired of going through the same thing. So I think it's so powerful what you guys are doing. And, I'm 1,000% behind you guys. And I just want to do anything I could do to help,
Hey, Holiday, my guy, listen, man. And this part you don't know about me, but Jamon and bro, they know. Both bros. I ain't even had to call his name. I just called both of them bro. But either way, I do a lot of acronyms, right? And one of the reasons that I love acronyms is because it's kind of it takes a word and it gives it more depth and meaning to help a person look into the thing that you're saying or the word that you're using from a different perspective, right? And the one that I came up with for trauma, right, is a real simple one, but it speaks to what you just said, right? So trauma, to really analyze, all right? To really analyze and understand my actions. Because we're making trauma responses to situations because the pain and the hurt and the grief is so loud in our lives, bro. Man, I lost my mom on the same day I was going to a funeral for my aunt. Literally, I was going to pay respects to my aunt's passing, only to be told the same day that my mom died that morning. Now, I don't know what page of the book that's on, and I don't know what chapter you got to read through to get to that one, but I had to face that, right? Won't nobody can tell me how to feel in that. And I had to navigate that pain in that moment while still going to pay respects to my aunt to then begin to process losing my mother. And here's the thing, her passing almost caused me to pass because I got caught up in the pain. So what I had to do, and this is to anybody that's lost somebody that they care about, you have to go ahead and you have to accept that their journey has completed and you have to let them go. Because if you continue to hold on to them, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer. And that's going to impact every aspect of your life. Your relationship with your significant others, your children, your co-workers, because you're going to take you where you go. And bro, no, man, he'll get worried about me. And I understand it. And I don't trip on it because I know he always coming from a genuine place for me. But he also know that no matter what I'm going through, my thoughts are too alive to not figure it out. And I'm not going to go and be the one that they're going to be able to point to and say, oh, man, I was just waiting for him. No, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. Because I know what's at stake, yo.
So
that's why we do what we do.
So, I'm glad you touched on this, very touchy topic, man, because it's sort of taboo in the Black community. It's been more highlighted now, man, when they talk about trauma. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. We've been going through trauma all our life, man. They just decided to put a name to it.
Just talk about it, bro.
I'm talking about, man. You step outside your house in the neighborhood, man. It's like, and then you wanna. It's like. You ever had a fight before, right? You about to have a fight with somebody, and that adrenaline you have. Well, imagine being in the neighborhood where that adrenaline don't go down, and then you leave that and go to prison, where that adrenaline do not go down. It's like that cat when he feels threatened, the hair on his back. Imagine that heightened level of being tense, right? Or that heightened level of trauma, being in a traumatizing environment where your hair is on your back for 20-something years. And then you come home, there is no couch to lay on to debrief. Now, Holly, you probably say, well, they ain't give us too much coming out the service either. They ain't have a whole lot for us to debrief on. Well, imagine a person that's been inside of a controlled environment for 23, 25, 30, 40, 50, 40 years, right? And he comes back home and there is no resources to deal with the trauma that he experienced. You're talking to a man that wanna dispel a myth real quick, because everybody think that prison is the worst of environments, and I promise you, there are some things that happen. But when I first came home, it felt like I was leaving society, coming to the society, entering prison, because I couldn't find the humanity that I found behind the gate. Now, some people say, oh, he hella institutionalized. Nah, you got me up. I'm not. But I seen the best of mankind on that side, especially when a man got a life sentence and his mother dies. Counselor gonna come around and tell you about it, but they ain't coming back and checking for him. You know who makes sure he eat? Making sure he's okay? Making sure he gets up and come on the yard and get some air? It's us, man. When a man get turned down for parole 10, 15, 20, 30 times, man, it's us in there, man, making sure that he get back on his feet and get ready for next year. Where some men be in there be like, you know what, I ain't going up there. I ain't going over there no more. They never gonna give it to me. No, we got to make sure they know that it's possible. So when these phones ring and Prince and I push 0, and them guys and them girls over there say that we give them hope, man, we understand the assignment out here. Especially for those who are going through those mental health challenges right now. They need to believe that they can be BYDS, they can be the lead, that they can be Catch More Kids, that they can be Give Back to the Block, that they can be Bags for the Kids, that they can be Just See, and all of these entities that's doing work out here. They can be the Haskets, they can be the Rock Project, they can be Ron J, they can be Blunt. You heard him say his brothers was in prison, but he didn't go.
Be the cool foundation.
Be the cool foundation. You know, so you can. Yo, I'm glad you touched on that mental health component, man, because it's serious. As bro said, I lost a whole life in there. I lost a whole life, man. You imagine you going home, man, and your homecoming is bittersweet because your kid's still in the system.
Sure.
That ain't no good homecoming, man. If they could have said, okay, you can go or you can give it to one of your sons, I'd have forfeited, man. I'll still be there. But you know what? We were still doing this work inside those reentry communities, man. We had all of the alphabets, and all of those alphabets had mental health challenges. When I say all of the alphabets, I ain't talking about no soup, man. I'm talking about from A to Z. Earn Brotherhood, Bloods, Crips, Gangster Disciples, MS-13, and most of the time they're in the same pod. And we had to melt that, and we had to help that melting pot of antisocial behaviorisms get along.
Shout out to the homies.
And we were able to do that with their help. And how we did it was show the shared values that we had. And the biggest one, everybody wanted to get back to the familiar scent of their mama house. So if I cut you, I ain't going. You cut me, I ain't going. Everybody wanted to get back to the familiar scent of their mama house. And we made sure they were reminded of what their mama house smelled like. Yo, bro, you remember what your mama house smelled like? Damn, people. I do, bro. I do, man. Your kids be over there? Yeah, man. Mama cooking this weekend. The shared value, man. And the only thing we did was came out here in an environment that society says was the worst of the worst, and we made that happen. If you say in this free world that prison is the worst of the worst, and we had a college community where people got along in prison, then Princeton, I said that we can do it out here too.
Hey, well, listen, man. I'm gonna say this. All right. So a lot of times people be having conversation about the assignment, right? And we know our assignment as young people. And they will tell you that, oh, they smoking weed, they drinking, they skipping school, they carrying guns, they ain't listening to the parents, they just out of control. And you know what I say to them? People that talk to me about this, I tell them, so what? And when I say so what, it seems like I'm being dismissive of what they're talking about, and I'm not. Because, see, the reason that we're doing what we're doing is because of those reasons. What I want you to tell me is something about them youngins that I don't know. And that one thing that you can tell me about them that I don't know is, have you sat in front of them and understood why? Because if you're not going to talk to them, you ain't got no right to be talking about them. And whatever issues they got going on, give them to us. Yeah, they call us when they about to crash out, and hopefully we can save them. Yeah, they call us sometimes when they smelling like weed and then drunk. Ain't nobody telling them to do that stuff. They trying to figure out how to cope with all that trauma that they face with every single day. The best friend just got his head blown off. And he talking about go to school tomorrow. Ain't no food in the house. Bro, don't tell you the stories about going out into to Jackson Ward and the youngin' over there, the mattress, his best friend get killed on the mattress. That's the only mattress in the house. And you got to go back over there and you got to replace that. You don't get that on social media, though. You don't get that. We don't talk about it. For what? But that's the issue. And then you got to go in there and try to figure out how to get them to process everything that happened, and they can't escape the environment that it happened in. Oh, be okay. Be okay. No, they not okay. But it's okay that they not okay with us, because we see who they are. We see the potential of who they can become. This ain't no goddamn fashion show. Some likes. I don't even like social media. It's whack to me, but you got to use it. But if you got to use it to get a message out that's going to inspire people to be better, then that's what it is, bro. That's what we doing over here. We ain't that. They not like us. Literally.
Which comes to the point, you know, good brother Holiday and Blunt, is the importance of this community enrichment day, man. And again, I can't highlight enough, man, the good brother Ron J, because I seen when y'all had the good brother on, ain't necessarily had the chance. Just to pray, because I ain't even had the chance to really bust it up with bro, right? I busted up with Rock and Coach Rock at the Rock Project, and you guys, and I, you know, Mario and the Haskins. You already know, I know them and everybody, but you know, it's important, man, to understand what's going on right now. And I'm about to drop something, man. We understanding right now the importance of synergy, that the whole of us is greater than any one part. The whole of us is greater. Too many times when a lot of grassroots organizations, man, are fighting for treetop organization scraps that fall to the ground, when we don't have to. We enough. And the crazy part is that we always been enough, not just here in Richmond, because this ain't just a Richmond thing. This is a Virginia thing, man. But man, bro, go back to the 75, 757, man, and the work being done back home too by some incredible organizations too that's looking at it to see how they can come up here and help us too. And we should feel the same way about going down there to see how we can aid them. The whole of us is greater than any one part. A few weeks ago, I was in Alabama with a group of folk, organization called Tapestry, and the other one WMRJ, and we went to a protest. All roads lead to the South. And what I noticed was a lot of the elders that protested back in the day to get us here, the ones that were still alive were back out there again. This time I'm helping them off the curb in wheelchairs. Because a lot of our won't out there. Then I started thinking of my own self. And then I became ashamed, and I'm going to tell you why. I became ashamed because of conflict that I might have had with other entities. When I'm in a time right now that I have no business having conflict when there's a diabolical plan to put us back in Jim Crow. We have to deliver a different message. This community enrichment day is showing a bunch of Black people coming together and showing some people what it's supposed to look like without any egos. Now, bear in mind now there might be some, they might have names on them, organizations, but I promise you, everybody don't have to run an organization, but everybody can be a mentor, a funder, a supporter, a volunteer, an advocate, a hire, or simply people just different. You don't even have to have an organization to be inside this work, man. You don't gotta have a brand. You just gotta be among the common folk and care about everyday people and try your best to put humanity back inside of folk. This is what I seen when I seen this community enrichment day. Enrichment day. We need to change our cadence a little bit with our youngins and make them understand the same way Prince and I talk about all of the alphabets inside of that pod. That was a controlled environment, a tight environment, where we made people understand that the punitive element that was holding us was the enemy, not each other. Right now, with this gerrymandering, redistricting, all of the things that they're trying to do to get the votes that they need to go back inside and change the Constitution to have us, people that look like us, if not back in, but damn near close to Jim Crow ties. While we over here fighting and bickering, it remind me of this thing I seen on National Geographic where two gazelles were locked in. They was locked in. While they was locked in, the lion was creeping a little bit more. And before they noticed, they couldn't even get their horns. And when they seen them, they couldn't get their horns attached, and one of them got killed. Because they were so busy fighting each other, they didn't realize what the true enemy was. There are some people that do not care too much about us. So how, as Bud just said, how can we not care about us? We got too many enemies right now, man. And a lot of our wounds right now are self-inflicted. It's time for healing, man. And we have our young folk to be the champions of young folk. That means that some of us are getting long in the tooth and that we have to be willing to pass the baton. I'm not talking about put it in their hand and don't want to let it go because you don't want to not be in the spotlight no more. You're afraid of the next generation coming up and getting what they need to get to. But I always was told that the people with the solutions are more closer to the problem. Sometimes we have to realize when it's our time or when it's time to get out the way and elevate somebody else. That's what I see in Community Enrichment Day. A bunch of individuals that do not care about the pomp and glitter of the work, that wants to elevate somebody else to be effective.
Yeah, that's a good message right there, bro. I think, and then too, I think as because you brought up the healing, because that's what our journey is about. We did a therapeutic talent show at James River. And when I came up with the idea of it, I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just knew I was going there with something. And I knew I had the babies backing me, so that wasn't no big deal. But the theme of it became your voice, your gift, your healing. And if you're going to go on this healing journey, this is not for the silent. You know, you have to get to the place where you want to talk about what's going on with you, but you can't get into this space of where we are at being silent. It's not going to work. Silence is the enemy. Silence will cause you to speculate or, you know, to over exaggerate a thing. And if you don't use your communication skills effectively, then you're going to miss your mark, man. We talking about human beings, people. We're not talking about like people, you know, people, places, and things. That's going to always be the cipher that we operate through. And when you go amongst people in these places doing these specific things, you're going to acquire some knowledge and some wisdom and some understanding about what's going on. You know, you read, you study, you listen, you learn. You make allowances for people. Like over the last couple of weeks, I've been going through this thing where I've been teaching people about tests, you know, because I had to go through a 5-week training at Bunn. And as I'm going through this training, my life is in a different space. I ain't got to get into the specifics of it, but I'm going to just say, you know, just for context, my life was in a different place. And I had to go inside of me to be able to complete the task of finishing the training and not get overwhelmed with the stuff that I can't control right now that's going on with me personally. I ain't blaming nobody. I'm not mad at nobody. This is what I got to go through. But I guarantee you this, as I go through this thing, I'm going to learn something from it. And the takeaway that I got from it was through the mantra that I had to quote 5 weeks that we created in the training. And it was a real simple mantra. It says, you will be tested, understand your purpose, never quit. Hold on. You will be tested, understand your purpose, never quit. One of my favorite surahs in the Quran is Surah 29. And it starts off by saying, do you think that you will be left saying that you believe and that you will not be tested? That's out the gate. So then I started thinking about tests. And I said, you know, there's a lot that goes on with tests. One, the emotions that surrounded the test-taking process. Oh, I got anxiety. I'm scared. I'm overconfident. I'm ready to take this and get this out the way. I'm nervous. I'm unsure. I'm filled with doubt. Boom. Then you got to ask yourself, what is a test designed to do? To show you what you're working with, your strengths and the areas that you need to improve upon. And then third, look here, man, what kind of test am I taking, bro? Because all tests is not the same. If I'm taking a math test, if I'm taking my homegirl at the thing, what's up, yo? There you go. Look, if I'm taking a test, right, and I'm taking a math test, and you taking a test that's going to be dealing with relationships, you both might get the right answers to the test, but they ain't the same. They not the same test. You feel what I'm saying? They not the same. So now, as you go through these different tests with people, places, and things, what is this situation supposed to be teaching me? Bro talked about the predatorial data-seeking mangas, or what do you call them? Something like that. Like they want data because they just see the person as data. We talking about people's lives that produce the data, though. But this somebody's son, this somebody's daughter, this somebody's mama, this somebody's sister, this somebody's brother. This ain't Call of Duty, yo. So yes, get the data, but get the data so that you can get to see what's going on. Then you find the people that can really help them instead of trying to profit off somebody's pain, man. Shame on you.
Chris, I want to say something about data. I know Taylor talked about us being the ones that are the front runners for different things, like the jurors.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to be the ones acquiring the data to help our community. Look at the numbers so we can use the data and not let someone else use it. And I know we're running out of time here, but I will talk to you guys all night. But I want Donnie to jump in and talk about the community day a bit more and let everyone know what's going on July 25th.
man, this has been a great night on the podcast, man. Just hearing the wisdom you guys share. So I definitely want to give a shout out to everybody that's a part of it. You know, both of you guys, man. I admire you. You know, thank you for being up here tonight, man. Man, I honor you guys, and for Like a Rock, for Ron J, for Big Mario, Little Mario, P, like you bringing safer streets, and bro, like friends, you know, we've done a lot of work together already. To and of course Dominique, you know, is my cousin, man. Like this is how I see it, y'all. It's like in the Bible, it was a story about the Tower of Babel, and because they all talked the same language, they were able to build something all the way to heaven. And it's like, you know, if we able to talk the same language, can't nobody stop us, man. And on July the 25th, what we want to do is to have the love, the nostalgia, the unity. We want to make this day a day for real, where well they'll think about it. They'll be like, you know, it was something in the air, it was something special. And that's what love is. You know, when if you remember when back in the day they had those cookouts where everybody would just come around, and didn't matter where you was from, you were welcome, you were considered family. You know, we when we become one, and we are better together. When we become one, man, and our love to take over, no matter what we've been through, we can heal each other. You know, and that's important tonight, man. Like your message, your testimony, the things that you've been through, it replies as a source of healing for each other. So July the 25th, I'm excited about what we're looking forward to, and what it we believe it is, and what it's going to become. And we putting the city on notice, man. We want to touch the city. We want to touch the heart of the city. We want to touch the young man that feel like, you know, that they don't have anybody, that want to come, and you want to come on July the 25th and know you got family. That we are one. So man, thank you guys tonight. This was powerful. I got a family Bible study I lead at 7:45. So I'm gonna cut out, and I'm gonna leave it to Dominique and you guys. But man, thank y'all.
Bro, love you, man. You already know, big love.
Love.
So I'm gonna
Donnie.
piggyback. I'm gonna piggyback off a little bit what Donnie said about July 25th. So July 25th, it's not just a one-day thing. So what we are in discussion and what we're trying to do is stay connected to everyone that comes and have different events and meetups to stay engaged with the community. Not just we give some book bags away, give some school supplies away, but we want to make sure that everyone is supported that comes out. So that's a little bit more on what we're trying to do outside of July 25th.
That's a good thing right there. I think that's important for the conversation, bro, because like you said, man, it's way deeper than gifting someone something. Yeah, we here to experience and enjoy the pleasures and the joys of life. You know what I'm saying? And bro, I tell you this, man, I tell people all the time, man, the people are the currency, bro. Ain't nothing gonna be more important than the person. Because the person give value to everything that they lusting after. You know? Enjoy your life, live right. But don't you ever start thinking that something is more important than a human being or a person on this earth. Nah, because without them, the rest of that don't even count. You know?
Yeah, so for me, man, it's about Big Mama being able to sit on the front porch again, man, and not worry about bullets or gunshots. It's about, Big Mama feeling comfortable in the neighborhood, man. Big Mama coming to a place where she can feel safe and bring her G babies. You know, where men know they can come, man, from different neighborhoods, man, and say this. If today it's a safe zone, where people going to come in and have some love, man, and love on each other the way that we're supposed to. It's the beginning of healing, man. Like I said so many times before, from the 757 to the R, man. It's a time for healing. And once we get that part together, see, that's one thing they don't want from us. They don't want us to heal. And this is why they keep on inflicting the poison inside of our circumstances, inside of our communities, and the likes of that, right? It's just time for healing, man. It's about people remembering what community feels like, because the vision ain't it.
Mm.
So I'm gonna end on. I'm feeling kind of bad, guys. I mean, to cough in your ear. So I'm gonna end on this note. July 25th, we want everyone to come out, whether you're an organization, whether you're a big brother, big sister, mama, father, whoever you are, come out and support because it's someone that needs you. And also, back on the data aspect, I look at data, people, and everything else that I've learned in corporate America as being if you have the lock, the key to that lockbox, you control whatever they want.
Mm.
So if we have that key and we put it away, they'll do whatever we want them to do.
Mm.
But we got to stop giving those keys away.
Mm.
So,
I feel that, bro.
so if there's anything you guys want to say outside of that, I'll give you the floor to talk about any upcoming events, and then we can end the call for tonight.
You know, I'm gonna just close out by just saying this right here. So, you know, I do a lot with numbers and alphabets, right? So 725, right? 7 is God. 25 is the letter Y. And as we look around this world and see all of these things, people are asking the question, God, why is this happening? Some people are growing stronger in their beliefs or faith or whatever word you want to use for it, right? But 725 represent God and the letter Y, 25. God, why? Why? Because you're chosen for the assignment, right? Why? Because God is love. And if you don't know love, then you don't know why we doing what we doing. We went down to South Carolina and the lady, shout out to the Queen, and she said to me about the Gullah Geechee Nation. And I asked her a question about where did their language stem from. And she said to me, she said, it's the code of the spirit, right? And when she said that, I was like, what? She said, it's the code of the spirit. So I started to entertain that thought and that idea. And I said, you know, a code gives people access to stuff. And it also restricts people from coming inside things. If you don't got the code, you can't get inside. So the only code that will allow you to have access into what we're doing is love for the people, yo. Can't access this without love for the people, man. So love up on yourself, forgive yourself, man. Say I'm sorry and I apologize, man. This ain't nothing wrong with that. And other than that, I'm good.
Yeah, for me, you know, and he touched on the God part, man. Like, so, you know, for me, I'm. They took God out of prisons. They took God out of schools, and I like to believe that God might have just said, you know what? If y'all don't need it, then y'all figure it out. And this is why we in the crisis of this country and all across the world that we in right now. So until we get back to that part right there, we're gonna find some difficulties in trying to achieve what it is that we want to achieve. People gotta go home, man. You know. And I just want to say what I started off with. You know, a person don't need or have to be an organization to create organization. You know, you just gotta have the courage and lead with your heart, man. And pay attention to the man on the top bunk, man. He ain't never stirred us wrong. We just gotta find our way back to him. He said if we take one step to him, he'll take two to us. Man, every time I hear that, I say, man, that should be the other way around because that's God. But that's in his mercy right there for us, man. And for us to find the healing that we need, we're going to need some more of that mercy. And we're going to have to get to what we got to get to, man. So right now, us being these mere mortals in this realmly world, in this dunya, we're going to have to get back on our get busy, man, you know, and start doing our part. See, we can rely on God, but we still got to tie our camel. So we got to get to our work out here, man, the best way that we can to try our best to put humanity back inside of people. Appreciate you, Holiday.
Sound about right.
Thank you, brother.
Man,
So
thank
we
you,
are
Holiday, for this space, man.
no problem. Thank you guys for coming on. I'm truly honored to have you guys. Such a powerful message tonight. And we're going to end on that note. So again, 5 a.m. Club, faith, fitness, mental health, and business. Until next time, that's the 5 a.m. Club.